I've just been on a bike ride and something came to mind and I felt like sharing it with everyone on my YouTube page. So a lot of times in life, there's this phrase, what would people say? I don't have to worry about what people say. And as humans, this is how we've come to condition our decision making process. When we're thinking of what to do, we're thinking, what will people say? And this probably came from our upbringing, especially for those of us from, say, Africa or the Caribbeans, from black nations. I think there's a lot of emphasis being placed on what people would say about what we do, and that then affects the decisions we make. And I grew up with this mindset as well. Like don't embarrass the family. Don't you have to worry about what those people would say, what those people would think. However, I don't care what people say. I've broken free from that chain, from that stronghold of what would people say. Because you know what? People don't care. People don't care about what you do. They don't care about the actions you take. They don't care about the steps you take. Yes, they will talk, and they'll probably talk for a day or two. So for example, you do something that is maybe controversial, people will probably talk for, don't know, 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, maybe one day, maybe 2 days, maybe one week. But guess what? They then get on with their lives, because they've got real issues to deal with. They've got to pay their schools fee, or their children's fees. They've got to pay their rent. They've got to pay their bills. They've got to worry about their relationship. They've got to worry about real issues affecting them, to the point where what you're doing is not their concern. It's just something that was topical for a second, and then they get on with their lives. So what does that mean? That means you're making this. If you are making decisions based on what people would say, you're wasting the rest of your life worrying about what people would say for 2 seconds. So think about that. People will talk for 2 seconds. However, you will live with the consequences of your decision for a lifetime. So ask yourself, is it really worth considering what people would say when you're making those big decisions? Or would you just do what you think is right and what works best for you and your family? So I wanted to share this because I think sometimes as humans, we think we're really important. We think, we place too much importance and emphasis on ourselves, this self-importance thinking, people are actually thinking about us. You know, I think people are thinking about me, people are actually having conversations about me. But the reality is, I'm not that important. You're not that important. None of us is important. Nobody really cares. You're not as important as you think. So if you think people are deliberating and having conversations about you and having meetings about you, you're deluded, because people don't care. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just life, because they've got other things to worry about. So, moral of this quick message is, do what makes you happy. And I don't mean that in the sense of just do whatever. If taking a certain step that is quite controversial is what you think is best for you and your family, or for you, then that's what you should do. Don't worry too much about what they'll say, or what he'll say or she'll say, or what your parents will say, because ultimately people get on board. I'll give you a quick story, and maybe my parents will listen to this. When I've got this beard now, and when I started keeping my beard, my parents were like, especially my dad, my parents were like, oh, you need to cut this beard. It doesn't look good on you. It doesn't present you as a as a responsible person. You should be clean shaven, because my dad is clean shaven. He's always been clean shaven. I've never seen a strand of hair on my dad's chin, and that's no joke. He keeps it 100. However, I got to the point where I felt I prefer beard on my face, because I like the look of it. I feel like it gives my face a better look. So I decided to go down that route, which And I'm sure maybe apart from my parents, other people would have thought about it as well. When I decided to keep my beard around, it looks irresponsible, it doesn't look like an accountant. So, the things people say and the chat people, going about. So my dad gave me advice, and it came from a place of love. He was giving me advice around, maybe you should keep, cut it, but if you really really need to keep it very low, almost to the point where folks can't see it. But then I was just like, nah, man, I'll just keep it as it is, because I like the look of it. Makes me happy. And you know what? I'm not committing a sin. So we go down the biblical route. I'm actually not committing any sin. And it's not affecting my work. It's not affecting my life. So why should I do it the way, maybe how I would have been expected to do it 40, 50 years ago? So I kept it. And guess what? Years down the line, dad said, this beard actually fits you. This beard actually suits you. Mom as well, Now they tell me it suits me. And, they came on board, which was good. And then I guess at some point as well, they thought, who cares? Enoch likes his look, and it actually suits him. And it's not affecting his life. He's getting on with life. He's, succeeding and excelling. So who cares if he has some hair on his face or not? Because ultimately, it doesn't go against our core principle, which we believe, which is the Bible for me, because I'm a Christian. If I had listened to dad and mom, and I'm not, for one reason saying, I'm not for any moment saying don't listen to your parents, ultimately listen to your parents, but only take what they say as guidance. It's not gospel. Take it as guidance, and if you think, what, dad, mom, what you're saying doesn't really work for me, then, politely refuse to take it on board. And not just your parents, anyone. If folks giving you advice, they're probably coming from a place of love and a place of care. So listen to what they have to say. However, you then make the decision of, this is what works for me, so this is what I'm going to do. Don't live for others. I know there's that popular phrase or quote from what's this iPhones guy? I can't remember I can't remember his name now. It's just out of my head. Before he died, he said, don't live other people's lives. Don't, because by thinking what people say, you're living other people's lives. By thinking what would my neighbors say, you're living your neighbor's life. By thinking what would my dad say, you're living your dad's life. By thinking what would my mom say, you're living your mom's life. So you need to live your own life, because ultimately, whatever decision you make, you bear the consequences. Or whatever decisions you make, whatever fallout comes from that, the downside of it, you will live with it. Not the people you're worried about, not the people that will comment for a minute. You will live with that consequence. You and maybe your children, or maybe your partner, your wife, your husband, or girlfriend, boyfriend. You are the ones that will live with it. So you need to make decisions that works for you, not for someone else. Right, I've been going on for 8 minutes. Hopefully, I've passed the message across, especially for those of us from, African nations, or Caribbean nations, or black nations. We place too much emphasis on this. We need to de-emphasize it and just do what makes you happy. And be proud of it, own it. Own it. Another example was when I one of the places I worked, I just like wearing, the old full suit. I wear my tie and I just go all in, because that was what I enjoyed. I loved wearing. That was my style. However, the people in my team, that was not their style. And there's a lot of jokes around, oh, Enoch is always fully smart and whatnot. Guess what? Within months, everybody started wearing ties. I'm not kidding you. And I don't know why. Maybe they liked how I look and they thought, what, I'll start wearing tie as well. And they started wearing ties. So I'm happy. Maybe they're happy as well, but I'm not that bothered. I'm happy with what I was wearing, and I just stuck to it because I felt good when I wore ties then. So I think I've been fortunate in the sense that I've got this strong mind, and I generally just do what works for me. My wife says I'm shameless in the sense that I don't care what people say, and I'm fortunate in that sense, I have to say. So I think the advice is, be shameless. As long as you're happy, be shameless. Do what works for you. Do what works for your circumstance. Do what works for your family, shamelessly, because you know what? Nobody cares. So you shouldn't care about what people say, because they don't care about what you do. Maybe they'll care for a second, but ultimately they don't really care in the grand scheme of things. You're not that important for them to really care. Thank you for listening. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, click like. If you want to challenge anything, comment. If you like what I've said, comment to say you like you've liked, you've enjoyed what I've said. And what other button is there? And share as well. If you think, you know what, someone needs to hear this, maybe you know someone that this really is going to be useful for, someone that really cares about what people say, then share this video with them. Let them watch, let them listen, and hopefully let them learn, because ultimately you've only got one life, you've only got one shot, one chance. Don't live someone else's life, live your life. I'm living my life, I'm living my life according to my rules. I'm living Enoch's life. So live your John, live John's life. If you're, Grace, live Grace's life. Live your life, because ultimately, why won't you? Thank you for watching, and hopefully share more videos with you in the coming weeks and months. Have a lovely day, have a lovely week, and have a lovely month. God bless.